As you see by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about those sort of mods that you guys might want to be looking at doing first, what everyone that has these cars really sort of works towards first of all, and this hopefully should be a nice easy video for you guys just to click on, have a little look through, whether you've got a Clio already or you're looking at getting one. These are obviously going up in price now, sort of starting to creep that way slowly, so especially those lower mileage sort of models, if you want to get your hands on those, now's the time. And yeah, they're starting to go up in value, which is always a nice thing when you're owning a car or going to buy a car and you know that they're appreciating rather than depreciating. But I didn't think they were going to get any less than what they were. I think they've hit their rock bottom of about $1.5 grand. And yeah, they seem to start shooting up now, so keep your eyes out if you're looking for one. As we look towards the car, we're obviously just going to be walking around and going around the outside and talking about sort of exterior mods. The Clio 172, 182, or even if it's just a standard Clio, modding a car is always going to be that step away from obviously just a standard vehicle. So you want to be, first of all, taking into account what you want to do, what you want the car for. Obviously my car now has had quite a few mods done to it. I've had it for 8 years. It's not as mad as other people's. I haven't done that much, but I've got quite a few mods sort of all around the car. She is battered and bruised. She's done 121k, and is obviously 16 years old now, so do bear that into account. These cars, obviously you're not going to get a gem unless someone has resprayed it or anything like that, or proper garage queened it. So walking around the outside of the car, the mods that you're looking at straight away for me personally is the exhaust straight away. Yes, I think you should enjoy the car when you first get it. You should work out what you guys want, what you're looking for in the car. Obviously this exhaust as it is now fits the bumper a little bit nicer, fits these plastic trims nicer as well, and it looks good. Every aftermarket exhaust you'll find has pretty much similar tips. You can't quite get your fist in there, she's not that wide, but it's a good tip for me and it looks nice from behind. Not overpowering, but also looks good. Obviously the standard one, I'll try and get a clip for the video to pop it up. A little bit more of a sort of a pea shooter kind of thing. I'd say it was probably maybe not half the size, but getting there of those. Obviously this is only for the 182s, the 172s. You have a similar problem that I'm going to talk about next, but yeah, first thing you want to be looking at is maybe an aftermarket exhaust, even if it's just a back box. I've got a resonated Scorpion RS 192 exhaust. This is for both the Clio's owners, the 172s, the 182s. One of the biggest things that I think everyone should do straight away, because I had about 4 years of changing these mounts and it was really just a waste of time. You want to be looking at PowerFlex exhaust mounts, whether you need one for the 172 or you want obviously both for the 182. These babies under here, wherever they are, there, those two are what you want to invest in. I think they're about 20 to £25 each, and what they're going to do is, well, obviously they're a solid, not a solid mount, they're the orange rather than the black series. You can get black series ones, but yeah, I've done a video on installing them pretty much, and all you want to do is take those old rubber mounts out once they're worn, because they're not very strong and they'll sag. So you'll see on a lot of 182s the exhaust is obviously sort of down here, or maybe on even one side. Sometimes on the heavier side of the exhaust it drops down straight away. As soon as that happens, take both mounts off, invest in some PowerFlex, and get them orange mounts in there, and you'll never look back. I probably changed 3 sets and I was thinking, come on, it's got to be better than this. And yeah, as soon as I sort of got into the car modding side of things and where I wanted to push this car a little bit more and change it up, that was when I found those. So yes, get them PowerFlex ones. I'm not going to go on about it too much. Pretty much it just holds the exhaust nicely and makes it look nice and pretty. That's the one time I hate showing the exhaust, because obviously I don't get underneath there and clean all the exhaust back box or anything like that. So as soon as I show that, I'm like, oh, actually that's a bit dirty. So next thing, we're going to go underneath the bonnet. This is quite an easy mod to do, don't worry about anything else. But induction kit, whether you go K-Tech, whether you go JMRS, whether you go fatty induction kit. Fatty induction kit is like the cheap version, which I had first of all, where you have that chrome, well, you have the standard sort of 90-degree elbow there, and then you buy a 70mm chrome pipe off of eBay that has a sort of 90-degree bend in it also, and that'll flex into there, and then get any filter, ram air, K&N, whatever you want, and that can go in there as well. So what it looks like now, like I said, that now makes that look so bad. Now obviously I've got my cover on, but there is a big old air filter in there, so that's one to do. One just for noise, it just has that bit more of a fun factor and makes the car sound a little bit more mean. And if you feel like it's too loud at that end, add one of these and it seems to break up the sound quite nicely. So that for me is quite a good mod. Obviously mine is JMRS, quite a local guy to me. Well, I say quite local, he's in exactly the same town, so about 2 minutes away. But the only reason why I went for that one is because it looks great. He's got loads of colours. It's pretty cheap. I think it's £120, whereas K-Tech one is a bit more than that. So you want to maybe keep an eye on that. But yeah, not a bad buy. The cheaper induction kit's about £40 to £50 depending on what the prices of the parts are now, but a good mod, that one. Just for that little bit more noise and a little bit more fun, I love that mod. It's a personal preference. You might want to keep the standard airbox in there to keep the cold airflow. Like I said, I've got my sort of air filter cover and battery cover all in one, and I have the airflow sort of running up behind the headlight and then through those ducts at the front there instead of the fog lights. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the suspension. Like I said, the standard suspension is fine. If you don't want to change it, that's completely up to you. If you want to stay springs, Cook Sport springs on obviously the standard struts and everything like that seem to lower the car nicely. A lot of people run that because it's standard feel. It just sits that little bit lower and that little bit nicer on 16s. I'm not sure what it sits like on 15s, so you want to be a little bit wary of that. Obviously on mine I haven't spent a lot. They're only VMAX coilovers, which are one of the cheapest, bar some eBay versions I think, but they've done me well. I've probably had them on there 3-4 years now and I can't complain. It's like the standard suspension. Admittedly, if I went on track I think it's going to be a little bit floaty, but we're going to try that out, so hopefully at some point. But the whole reason I went for coilovers is because I wanted 15-inch wheels. I've got the Team Dynamics 1.2 Pro Race, but there's obviously loads of 15-inch wheels you can go for. I know people just like coilovers for the adjustability anyway, so yeah, even when you have 16, especially the Torinis, which everybody loves, it's nice to have that little bit of play on the old suspension. And that's the only reason why, really. Obviously you can go better, up to anything, gas goals, ASTs and stuff like that. You can spend big money, but for me personally I don't have that kind of money, unfortunately. But obviously people say if you go coilovers, go super expensive, but because you're going to get good. But in my opinion, if you're just using it for like a daily drive or a fast road or something like that, I don't see why you need to spend loads. But coilovers for me rather than springs, it doesn't seem to be worth faffing with springs when it doesn't really give you the adjustability. It just gives you a little bit of the lows, which yeah, I like to play around with the suspension heights. Back to the front, the cheapest one, I wouldn't even say it was more of a, it's not a performance mod, it's more like a styling mod. You can get performance versions if you like, if you feel like you're going to go for the race. I mean, you want a proper race split, you can. But a nice cheap splitter like this Skoda Fabia eBay one that cost me about 15 quid. There's a couple of other options as well you can maybe look into, and you just cut down both of the sides. It just adds that little bit of lows, gives it sort of fake lows almost at the front, and that little bit of protection as well. I've scuffed this one lots of times and it's slowly getting smaller at the front here. It's nice and rough, but it's hard wearing and it works nice. You get the cup splitter as well, but that's more of a hard material, more like a harder plastic, and that can break. There's a carbon version as well, but I think it just adds a little bit of something to the front end. So if you have got a Clio and you haven't got one of these, 15 quid, chop down each end, put loads of self-tapping screws in it, and you're away. Obviously wheels for me isn't important on a first thing. I don't really feel that's anything to put the pressure on you. You want to be maybe looking at nice tyres. It's going to give you that little bit of extra grip there, the thing that connects you to the road. That's what you want to be looking towards. Brake pads, discs and all that upgrades are sort of something that I'm looking at soon. Can always add to it as well. They're the sort of first few mods I recommend you guys doing, just getting sort of into touch with the Clio. They're not too like mad mechanical wise. Obviously the exhaust you can take it to someone if you want, but they're not hard to change. Yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Try not to shabber on too much. Hopefully it was a nice little video, and that was sort of the first mods I reckon you guys should do to your Clios. If you guys have a different opinion or you want to bring up other things, I might have missed something, but yeah, feel free to drop it below. But the main thing is to make it yours, make it what you enjoy, not what other people enjoy. And yeah, yeah, hopefully you'll have a happy place. Cheers guys.